Sage Wanderer coming at you from my van down by the river. So, yeah, in this video, I would like to discuss the storm, what the storm will look like. And a lot of people have been trying to decipher QAnon's postings to find out, how the storm will happen. And I'm more concerned with what the storm itself will look like. And I think that's one part of QAnon's postings that you don't have to decipher. He comes right out and tells you in a series of in some of the posts what it exactly will look like. And I think honestly that's his whole purpose for revealing what's happening, because he wants the true Americans, the patriots, to not become alarmed. Now, if he's a deep state shill and this is a distraction, then that could also be his purpose, is to make the patriots stand down while all of this happens. And really, to know whether to stand down or not, one has to decide whether QAnon is real or not, whether he is disinformation or true information. And I don't think we have enough, we don't know what's going on enough right now to really quantify that. There's a lot of things that make you believe that QAnon is in fact legit, but I'm not one that trusts in anything besides God. And I trust the God in my heart and God in my spirit, and nothing else is beyond my scrutiny. I will scrutinize everything else, even the Bible. I've studied the history of the Bible. I mean, I'm not a person who just believes. I kind of need to prove it to myself. I kind of need to. So there's only a few things to me that are rock solid concrete that I totally believe in, and it has to resonate in my spirit. And QAnon really hasn't resonated in my spirit. I don't feel like I totally 100% believe that this is legit, because I see the pitfalls of ignoring the concept that it could be disinformation. But let's get back to what QAnon says he wants us to do. Be calm, because some crap is going down. A storm is happening, and don't overreact. So if he's disinformation, then that makes us all stand down while the left makes some kind of deep state coup and takes our president out. And we get caught unawares. We sit still while the storm is happening. If QAnon is legit, then the storm that's coming is our military taking control back of our government from the deep state, from the shadow government, from the Luciferians, from the pedophiles. If that's the case, then we need to follow instructions and stand down and let the military handle it. So rather than going into what scares me to death is that QAnon is a deep state shill, and what's really happening is that Mueller and all of the Luciferians are about to take out Trump and overthrow our government with a communist revolution. And I've been talking about this for a long time. That is their plan. I don't know where QAnon stands in this, and whether there is truly a counter-coup plan that's going to take place. That's what QAnon is telling us, really, is that there's a counter-coup plan to stop a coup against Trump from the deep state, and that the military is going to stand up and defend the commander-in-chief. And maybe for the first real time in America, these American military men that have taken the oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. This may be the first time we really see the military stand up against a domestic threat. And I'm hoping that's what's going on. As a Christian, as a conservative, as a pro Second Amendment guy, as a guy who hates these pedophiles and the way they've gotten control of everything from Hollywood and the music business to the government and the internet. I hate that. And so I want QAnon's, what he's saying, to be true. So the rest of the video I would like to spend talking about what we should do if QAnon ends up being true and we believe and can kind of confirm that what is actually happening is a draining of the swamp. What should we do, and what should you expect? So in the postings, it's very clear that there will be a takedown of the internet. It is necessary for the military and President Trump to be able to control and corral and arrest all of these. I mean, there's so many indictments being bandied about right now. The number, I've heard numbers as high as 1,800 sealed indictments coming from around the country. And whether that's Mueller on our side or Mueller on their side, it's immense. So a storm is coming from these sealed indictments. Once they are revealed and action is taken on them, the crap is hitting the fan. Either way, whether these are swamp draining indictments or whether these are power grab indictments from the left, either way, a storm is coming. But we're going to be positive and go into the positive information that QAnon's up front. So you can expect the internet and the cell phone system to go down, because this is how the deep state, this is how the pedogate people communicate and do business. This is how they support each other. Nobody meets in person anymore in large groups. Everything is done secretly, silently through the airwaves. I'm just reminded of the Bible calling the devil the prince of the air, and how all this stuff goes through the airwaves. So the airwaves have got to be silenced. The internet has to be taken out. If, in fact, the white hats are able to, or are desiring to take out the deep state, to get them all at once, to prevent them from being able to rally their defenses and gather mobs or gather armies. I mean, these guys don't use walkie-talkies or CB radios anymore. They're using the internet. And the internet it is possible. I believe there's an off switch for all of this. And it's because so much of it relies on satellite communications, and we have the ability to control satellite communications as part of our military defenses. So we can just black out satellite communications, and much of the internet will go dark, and the rest can be taken out in various ways. But expect the internet to go out. So what does that mean to you and me? What this means is that we will not be able to buy and sell for a period of time unless you have cash. And most places will not accept cash even. They will just suspend operations because everything is digitally controlled now. I used to work retail, and I could tell you that I was able to go into our system, go to a store shelf in New Jersey from Oregon, and remove an item from their inventory, place it into my inventory, mark it for shipping, collect the money, and now it's like I made a sale out of my own store, and I did it all on one window in real time. If you were working with a customer in New Jersey and I wanted the item and the customer was looking at the item in New Jersey and I clicked on it first and he went to go look for it, suddenly it would be in his store but not in his inventory, and it would be marked for shipping. So this is the way that every business works. All of these businesses are all reliant on the internet. The only people that would still be making some sales, I believe, are personally small town home-owned businesses. Maybe convenience stores, potentially small restaurants might still be open. You might be able to get gas from mom and pop gas stations as long as the power grid doesn't go down. And I don't think they'll take the power grid down because too many people would die. It's wintertime now, and old people and babies would die if they took out the power grid. People would lose their crap if they were freezing, if the refrigerators stopped working. I believe that there will be an all-around communication blackout. The televisions will go out. Only the broadcast channels will still be broadcasting, and they will be on the emergency broadcasting system. And that the internet will be out, and we will be in a total information blackout. Now, radio will probably still work because it's a lot of it, especially local radio. So you might be able to get some news, some glimpse, but they won't be able to get their news sources because they get their information from the internet. Landline phones might still work. That means information could be sent out, leaked out regionally to radio stations. But I suspect once the emergency broadcast system is enacted, that even radio now will just be under the control of the military. And all you will get is what they want you to get, which will be an order to shelter in place and wait for further instructions and not leave your homes unless absolutely necessary. And that means, you need medical attention. Essentially, that's it. And so would that also involve local law enforcement securing the streets and prohibiting people from coming and going? Essentially, martial law would be enacted. This is where the 3%ers need to not panic. And I think for me, the dividing line is they can take the streets with tanks. They can do what they got to do to drain the swamp. And they will not have a problem with me unless they come to my door and ask me for my guns. And then I will say, come and take them. You know, they will get a slammed door in their face, and then it's on. And I die that way, more than likely. And I'm prepared for that, because to me, I would rather die than give up my Second Amendment rights, because that's the only way, it's the only thing that's going to keep me out of a re-education camp. It's the only thing that's going to keep me alive, awake, and on my feet. And I would rather die on my feet than die in chains. I'm going to say that again. I would rather die on my feet than die in chains. I have seen the documentaries of the Cambodian Communist Revolution and people being kept in a box that's big enough for a rabbit, much less a human being, and chained up so that they have to ask permission to roll over from the guard, or they get beaten or electrocuted. So I am not going there, and I suspect you aren't either. And so, you know, for me, I will shelter in place. I will be a good citizen, you know, assuming they don't come and violate my my Second or First Amendment rights in my own home. As long as they don't come for me, I will let them do what they need to do. And you should too. We should be good Americans. We should be good citizens. This is our military trying to protect us from these Luciferian beasts. So this is where we let the martial law happen. Not to mention, you won't have much reason to leave, because everything will be shut down. The mom and pop stores that do sell for cash will soon be cleaned out, immediately be cleaned out, to where they just don't have inventory. And they can't reorder, because guess what? It's all done by the internet. The trucking companies are dispatching their trucks via internet. Every form of transportation, communication, every form of purchasing, every form, even medical, everything is all based on internet. And when the internet goes down, we are going to be without function. Another F word was going to be there, coming out there, but we're not going to be able to function. So you should have food put up, water put up, everything you need, medicine, everything. You should have an alternate heat source in case the EMP hits or some kind of power grid situation goes down. Can the power grid survive without electricity? I mean, without internet, rather? And maybe that's what the drills of November 4th, 5th, and 6th were about, to determine whether electricity could keep flowing if the internet was taken out. Because, you know, so much of everything, you know, even the water purification plants, are all about the internet. So what I'm saying is, the storm is coming. This is what it will look like. The internet will be taken out. Martial law will be declared. The emergency broadcasting system will be enacted. And hopefully when we get out the other side, Trump will be standing on the pile with a whole lot of people locked up in jail. People that we've been waiting for a very long time for justice to come. And there will be the pedophile, pedogate, Luciferian, Soros-driven, Illuminati-controlled government in the United States will be purged. And the American people will be able to just sit back and eat ice cream and watch old DVDs, you know, while they wait for it to all happen. And hopefully it won't ever even come to your house, other than, you know, you're going to need to be able to survive without the internet. Can you survive without the internet? Thanks for watching. God save our republic.